Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you another game from a sponsored MoonLight Pro League match. To get you up to speed, it is Scan Motive and Spire going up against Barracks, Ruin, and HM. A couple really well-balanced teams, and one of each race, so that's like excellent to see. So we have a game here on Sylphid, and on the left-hand side we have HM. And on the right-hand side, under the ID Papa, for some reason, that's Motive. All right, so a PVZ here on Sylphid. This is going to be kind of interesting because, well, I guess what I'm looking forward to seeing is how the expansion pattern is going to work for HM, or for Motive, rather. HM not as much, right? Like, for Zerg, it's a little bit more straightforward, I think. But on this map, where do you want to try to take your third gas? You take kind of the closer one, or do you, which doesn't have as much, or do you try to take one of the further away ones that has that high ground ramp? But first, you know, we have to see if Motive can actually live to that point. Now, it is a gateway expansion, so nothing too out of the ordinary. Before we really get too far in, guys, thank you for coming back and watching some ArtosisCasts. I really appreciate you all. And please subscribe and hit the notification button. I've secured a lot of Korean Pro games, and I'm sponsoring a bunch of matches, so I should have a very steady supply of awesome StarCraft 1 for you. Thank you. All right, over on HM side, we do have that pool first. We'll see if he can actually get anything done with that. I think it's not realistically going to. Protoss have gotten very good with the gateway expansion at holding off any sort of early Zerglings. Like, generally what happens is you'll see a Zealot pull back with a probe and stand here, and then the Zealots that pop out will kind of deal with it, and you'll just kind of push the Lings back over time. So, not a big deal. It's not like this is a crazy rush or anything anyways. This is almost like a defensive pool first, to be honest, right? Like, he's making 4 Lings. That's just enough to kill, like, a Zealot if the Zealot overextends. You know, it can push the probe out a little bit more easily, things like that. Obviously, you're not going to be able to cannon rush or anything, so nothing. It's not like this is some crazy Zergling rush type of build or anything here from HM. He's going after this probe pretty hard right now. Zealot walking across the map. Of course, the Overlord saw what was going on down here. It's watching for the actual timing of the Nexus and how many Zealots are popping out. And, of course, he'll make Lings, you know, in the right amount to be able to block these Zealots. Now, the probe died already. That's a little bit of a mistake for sure for Motive. He can't be happy about that. A probe actually adds so much to Zealots fighting Lings. Like, it helps block, and any probe hit makes the Ling take 2 hits to die from a Zealot. So, always a nice moment. Now, this first Zealot went all the way to the 3rd hatchery. It's just kind of chilling there alone. It's going to have to run behind the minerals. Oh, he just gets in there. If that Ling had gotten behind, it would have been much worse. The other Zealot has actually turned around and gone home. So this is an excellent place. Like, you basically have to fight single file. Well, I mean, if he comes out to try to, like, punch the Zerglings away, then obviously they can hit 2 at a time. But if you're attack moving in, they, like, they can't. They have to go single file. So this thing is, like, almost invincible in there. It's a great place to stand it. And then other than that, we have Motive just kind of sitting very defensively. He's getting the Forge in the main base. This has been popping up a little bit more, where you get the Forge in the main base and make the Cybernetics Core out here because you don't care as much if the Cybernetics Core dies, whereas if you have an upgrade on the way and the Forge dies, it's like minutes sometimes of lost research time, which is so much worse than just making a new Cybernetics Core. So yeah, I really like to see this occur. You know, it feels like this is a very smart move, and I think more and more Protosses are going to do that in the future. This Zealot's still just chilling here. The 3 Lings basically have to stay there until it dies or a Hydra comes out or something. Just drones being made for the most part. Handful of Lings still out on the map. Trying to chase that probe down, and now the 4 Zealots are going to go across. This is a pretty common move, is waiting for 4 Zealots and then going. And what he'll probably end up doing here is bringing these Zealots, and as it draws attention, this Zealot may try to do something like break out of here and kill a drone. So let's see how this is going to go down. Zergling speed is actually on the way right now for HM. He's making a lot of lings as well. The 4 Zealots coming up. And see, yeah, this one's deciding to come out now at the exact same time. So he's trying to draw his attention to multiple locations. This one goes back for now, and the rest of the Zealots will fight. That's a beautiful drill. Look at that Zealot get completely screwed up. The rest of the Lings coming in, starting to surround. Motive in a bit of trouble. That's a lot of Zerglings, and speed is almost done. I don't know that these Zealots are going to be able to get home. Very nice defense here. Really, the tactics, like I like the idea that Motive was going up with, but this did not work. HM absolutely dismantled this 4 Zealot pressure. This Zealot hasn't been able to do too much. It's been annoying, but that's about it. In fact, he's going to go ahead and finish it off finally. This one Zealot's going to run into the main base for a scout, but, I mean, that's about as good as you can do. He knew it basically wasn't going to get home. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I didn't even think that this was a possibility, but his wall is actually quite poor, and he didn't get the second cannon up in time. So now we have Lings in the mineral line. Worst case scenario here for Motive. HM getting some serious damage done. Big, big problem here. Oof. All right, well, we'll see how many probe kills he ends up getting. He is denying some gas here. He's denying some mining time as well. Very painful stuff. Second Corsair comes out. I think he has cleared 1 Overlord already, right? Yeah, 1 Overlord dead. And, okay, he gets him. Okay, he didn't lose that many probes or anything, but a lot of lost mining time. It was very annoying. I think it was still a good moment for HM. And, well, the Spire is up, but it doesn't look like we're going to see any Mutalisks, which is not that big a surprise. Sometimes when you see Zergling speed, you'll end up seeing the Mutas. And honestly, Mutas have become more popular in Zerg versus Protoss lately. Like, we've definitely seen more Muta Bane, or a Muta Scourge, Flying Bane builds coming out. It has been pretty popular. But, oh, and in fact, he does make 5 Mutas. But I was going to say, with the Hydralisk Den coming up and, like, the lateness of it, like, he already has a Scourge out. I wasn't sure if he was going to go for it. But the thought process behind this is you get the Scourge out. This is the very normal amount. Whether you're going Hydra or Muta, you're going to make 4 Scourge because that's just too punishing for the Corsairs. And having the Scourge on the map, the Corsairs are not in a number that can fight them yet. So they have to go home. And then you decide what you're going to do. Is it going to be Muta? Is it going to be Hydra? Motive doesn't know yet. And as these Mutas come out, now he knows. And the Zealots have to turn around. Legs were not done. +1 not quite done here, so it's not like he can just run from the Mutas. He does have to go back. And look, there's not a cannon here. So there is some potential for harassment at this location. He has to utilize the Scourge to push those back. Nice micro from Motive. Trying to keep these Corsairs alive, pulling back into the cannons once those Scourge try to go after him. 1 Scourge has fallen. And we're up to 5 Corsairs, but only halfway done the attack. Right, so once you get +1, 5 Corsairs will 2-shot a Scourge. So you're kind of looking at these key numbers. Like, can you fight Scourge yet with these? No, not really. Now, more gates are coming up. That +1 armor on the way. Speed is done. Legs are done for these Zealots. So he's going to move them across the map. It's mostly Lings out, but some Hydras have been started. So as he does meet those, he turns around. I think he's a little bit afraid of the Mutas coming up and wrecking these Zealots. Yeah, see the Mutas, as soon as he saw the Zealots get on top of them. Corsairs will kind of force those back for now. Still some good production coming down from Motive, but a lot of Hydras are starting to join. Like, look, we right now are on 6 hatcheries, right? 6 hatcheries, +1 on the way. Speed for the Lings has been done for a while, and of course, those Hydralisk upgrades are getting done. Speed already there, range coming up. And it's going to be a lot of Hydras that are being fielded. And if we don't get some Psystorm out there pretty soon, I am getting a little bit nervous for Motive's position. It does feel like he's been just slightly behind the entire game. And we've certainly learned a lot, I think, in the last year or so from Bisu and Rain both being active. of how to play this match, and Mini, of course, as well, of how to play this matchup. If you're not getting damage with these Zealots, which is becoming more and more the case. Oh, actually, this looks actually pretty good. The Sunken is way far back, so he's getting quite a few kills here, and should be able to end up killing the Evolution Chamber as well. Let's see if he actually ends up getting. He's killing a lot of these Hydras. They're not really being microed back. Finally, the Sunken is getting some connections, but he is going to be able to get the Evolution Chamber. A lot of them fall down, so he loses a lot there as far as Zealots go, but gets a decent amount of Hydras. Looks like some of the Hydras that went up to defend there got out of position. The Corsairs actually end up getting some Overlord kills as well. So look at that. HM suddenly, like, he still has a good standing supply of 85 against 88. That's not bad, but gets supply blocked all the way down to 46. So that is very painful indeed. Now, the Muta's diving upon, oh my god, a lot of action here, diving upon these High Templars. And will he? Oh, he doesn't get it. Look at this, 2 health left over. So painful. And Psystorm is not even halfway done. So the Hydra's now counterattack and come up. They kill off one of the High Templars. They're going after cannons. Like, is he going to break him? He might end up breaking him here, but hold the phone. A single Dark Templar to the rescue. Oh my god, the DT may end up holding this. Cannons are still trying to warp in right now. The Corsair is going back out onto the map. There is one Overlord on its very slow way across the map. Psystorm still not done yet. Second DT is popping out. The second DT maybe being a godsend here. The first one having a hard time clearing everything by its lonesome, but another High Templar going to end up being picked off too. So even though this all ends up dying, he kills off so many High Templars, it seems somewhat worth it, but at the same time, the Corsairs are over here supply blocking him again. Oh my god, this game is absolutely insane. So much action on both sides. Motive definitely taking damage there. His army is now mostly Dark Templars, which doesn't even make sense. Going up against a Hydra guy that is so supply blocked, I can feel it. 9, 10, 11 Overlords on the way right now. Corsairs coming back down. Look at this. Gonna go after this Overlord as well. The Hydra's trying to target down the DTs, but they don't get any before it dies. A 6 health Dark Templar. Living through it all. More High Templars joining in. Oh my god. What a crazy game so far. So finally, there's supply left over here for HM. Okay, so he's able to produce again. He's got a very solid drone count. The probe count is fine for Motive. He's getting Dragoon range finally. This is a very late Dragoon range, by the way. But it has been such a hectic game. I kind of understand it. And it looks like there's going to be a big counterattack. So the Hydras come down for a little bit of a containment, but honestly, this is not scary because he does have Psystorm. What's scary is what Motive is doing over here to HM. Now, he does have a Sunken, so might end up being okay here. That's a great Sim City. Yeah, he has a hard time attacking in, but the Corsairs can push Overlords away, so the DTs have potential for damage. And if the DTs get, like, damage without being picked off quickly in a battle, they can turn the tides quickly because they just deal so much. But the Overlords have that speed upgrade. Going to try to pick off another one. Can't quite do it. Has to pull back. And now the High Templars coming out and joining the rest of the army. No Dragoons yet, though. Really, I think that Motive right now needs to switch over to Dragoons because we're starting to get to these critical masses where if you don't have Dragoons just always getting damage, the microing back of the Hydras is going to be painful. Now, let's see what the Storms can do. Nice Storm right there. Starting to attack into the natural. There is that Sunken there. Some good Storms. Ooh, beautiful Storm there. Archon being made now as well. A single High Templar remains. A lot more Zealots coming up as well to battle against these Hydras. We hear all the Dark Templars finally being picked off. More Mutas popping out as that Corsair count is reduced. And now the Mutas are actually going to do a great job of reducing these Zealots as well. But the Zealots still going to get a lot of damage in here. They have those 1-1 upgrades, picking off a Sunken colony. And, well, I mean, they don't really get many drones, unfortunately, but they do clean up a lot of the Hydras there as the Muta's going to force back these Zealots as well. Ooh, okay, so where are we at in this game? It's so insane. No third base for Motive. He's getting very low. No fourth base for HM. Not getting low yet because that's kind of how Zerg operates. They can kind of sit for a little bit longer. There is the new base. Now, if this doesn't get scouted, the cannons warping, okay. Okay, Motive's good. But, like, if he just randomly sent his units right now, this would just get killed off, and I would not give much of a chance to Motive anymore. Who, by the way, still not a single Dragoon. So he is staying on this Zealot plus High Templar army, which is going to have a much harder time against these mutas. There's nothing to really zone the mutas back at all, except for a very small group of Corsairs here. Okay, an Archon is made. That makes a lot of sense. Needs a little bit of something that attacks up. You can't just rely on Psystorms and like a small group of Corsairs, but let's see what the Corsairs can do. I don't see any Scourge in here, so they are going to be very useful. The first Lurker coming down. Oh gosh, actually we do have the Robo. I don't see an Observatory though. So he is definitely going to have to warp in an Observatory ASAP. This Nexus coming up. Another cannon being added. He can't really get over there to help that base, so that is a bit of an issue. Dragoons are starting to be made. It looks like probably going to lose the Gateway and the Cybernetics Core. Not the biggest deal. It'll actually open up this front a little bit and make it easier to bust out. Although he will need to remake that Cybernetics Core. Just the fact that he can't get probes over here as well, definitely a big issue, because when you look at it, he doesn't want to make more probes. Like, 46 probes is good for 2 bases, and that's all he's going to have after these patches are gone in like 2 seconds. So that is a bit of an issue. He really needs to break out of here so that he can actually get probes up to this base to mine. Now, as the first observatory comes up, I think Motive is going to get out. The supply is getting bigger and bigger for HM, but he hasn't really sent it down here yet. So this containment is not actually that scary. Now, in my opinion, he should be killing off this cannon and just moving out instantly. His army looks really, really good. A shuttle is out, by the way, to bring probes up to this base, so very, very good. HM finally finds out that there is a Nexus there, but sees no probes. Okay, here we go. Motive going to try to start busting out. HM still not reinforcing, so the first 2 Lurkers die very, very quickly, and HM, I think he has to fall all the way back. He has taken his own 4th base. He's got an okay spread of Hydras up here. But yeah, it doesn't look like he can contain anything at the moment. Now, the first group of probes do get up here. I would love to see... It looks like more probes being pulled for the shuttle. I'd love to see them just kind of sent. He needs to get that fully mining at this point. Not sure if HM is thinking about attacking. It looks like he is. This is a big enough army to kill 4 cannons. If there was a High Templar up there, maybe it's a different story. But this is going to be an issue. If Emotive loses this base... Now, there is going to be a counterattack, so he's going after this. This Nexus will fall, but this is the one chance I think Motive has to maybe win this game. During the counterattack, a lot of the units out of position. Huge Psystorms upon these Hydras. Oh my god, getting picked off so quickly. A lot of Dragoons left, but does he have enough Psystorms to finish this? It looks like he has like 5 Psystorms remaining, so that is a pretty big deal. Let's see if he can clear this all very efficiently. Doesn't need a storm on that small group of Hydras. Might end up hitting this base. Really only needs 2-3 units up here to clear this out. But looks like he's going to send most of his army for the time being. Now, the rest of HM's army is coming back across the map. Unfortunately, this small group of Dragoons is going to get intercepted, and it's not going to have a chance. The rest of his army is coming down. He leaves just 3 units as suggested. The Dragoons micro away from this. Now let's see those Psystorms in action. This is the crucial moment. Oh my god, the Mutas try to get in on top of everything, but get picked off very, very quickly. High Templars rallying out here as well. Very small Dragoon count remains. The storms are massive. The armies are not. Motive definitely with more supply here. He clears out most of that base. A lot of Hydras going up. But does he have a big enough standing army to actually clear the rest of these Hydras? I mean, the storms would have to be perfect. He's just not going to have anything that attacks left. Even though he has these great storms, his ground army is way too small, and I think, honestly, that's got to be it. With only this mineral base on the way, Motive doesn't have any other chances. He can't remake his army. Same supply right now. He kills this base, but still plenty of mining for HM. The writing is on the wall. This game looks to be over. A nice one. Kind of a crazy back and forth, but HM gonna pick up a victory here. for his team against Motive, who fought pretty valiantly, but was unable to hold that third base location that was so far away. So HM gonna come in. I mean, there's a few Psystorms in here, but 4 units that attack, if like anything's left over, he's gonna end up losing his army. So here comes HM, probably gonna be the finishing move. And a storm goes down. The Archon's trying to fight some good storms, no doubt. Great split there at the end. But here he comes, and HM gonna take it GG.